Welcome back on our show, Honourable Dr. Shane Reti. It's a pleasure to have you back on our show. Here's our here on our Radio Samoa Breakfast Show. Welcome and talofa lava greetings to you this beautiful Tuesday morning.
Talofa lava, Natasha. Very good to speak with you again too.
Awesome. Well, Samoa, for your information, Dr. Shane Reti is the Minister of Health and Minister for Pacific People. Dr. Reti is also the first New Zealand graduate Māori Minister of Health. Now, this morning we have some questions here, and this is regarding the strike, Your Honourable Dr. Reti. Yesterday afternoon, the Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and Associate Justice Minister Nicole McKee unveiled a revised three strikes law, which was abolished under the Labour government. Could you briefly elaborate on the new changes in this three strikes law and how will it benefit all of the New Zealanders?
Sure. So we were of a view, and we talked about this when it was removed by the previous government, that the three strikes law does serve as a deterrent and does keep serious offenders in prison where they should be, rather than released earlier than they would have been under the previous government. And so it brings back the 40 serious offences that were in the previous legislation. It adds a few, for example, suffocation and strangulation is added, and the offence needs to be, or serious offences need to be imprisonable for more than 24 months, is my understanding. But substantively, it is the law that we had in place when we were last in government. And as I say, we believe that it does serve as a deterrence for very serious crime, and does keep communities safe by keeping serious offenders behind bars.
Could you please elaborate more on the three strikes? We just need to find out what is the three strikes as stated on this law.
Yeah, sure. So what this is, if the offence qualifies for the three strikes law, basically, the first strike, there's a set of punitive consequences. If you commit one of those offences, that escalates the second time you appear in front of the judiciary, including issues around parole, for example. And the third time, a similar qualifying offence, then maximum sentencing and maximum consequences occur if this is the third time for one of those serious offences. That's how this works.
Awesome, great. So thank you, Your Honourable. Now we need to get into the job cuts in the public sector at this point. As the Finance Minister Nicola Willis and the government prepared to deliver the budget on the 30th of May, we see that there have been over 3,100 job cuts to the public sector from over 20 different departments, and including 63 job cuts from the Ministry of Pacific People, according to the RNZ article. As the Minister of Pacific Peoples, can you comment on why this has happened when the ministry delivers such a vital service for our Pacific people?
Oh yes, the ministry does an excellent job. And first thing I'd say is that I'm reassured by the CE and Secretary that the core functions of the Ministry for Pacific People will not be changed, will not be harmed. And we have to imagine that it was one of those ministries that had the most explosive growth from 2017 to now, roughly from 37 people to 136, so spectacular growth. And so it was one of those ministries that was suitable to have some restructuring. But most importantly, this is about function. And the targets and the outcomes that we have identified for the Ministry of Pacific People will still help the ministry to be very, very effective in the role that they have and the outcomes that we want them to deliver.
Awesome. So are there any other updates for our people from the Ministry of Pacific People?
So the consultation document is in consultation with the workforce and with the ministry. And then that will advance beyond consultation to further discussions. So bear in mind, the document only came out a few weeks ago. People are still digesting what it might mean. And then it will progress from discussions around consultation to actually discussions around more formative restructuring.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Your Honourable. Due to time, we've heard this morning that there's over 2,000 junior doctors that have announced a strike for 25 hours to take place on the 7th of May at 7 a.m. to the 8th of May, 8 a.m. How will you ensure that medical services to all New Zealand public will not be adversely affected by this industrial action?
There's several things. First of all, this is an employment issue. So this is between the junior doctors and Health New Zealand. So I won't be offering any comment on that process as it goes through its employment journey. But I am reassured by Health New Zealand and have sought those assurances that key services will still be maintained during the period of that strike. And I think that's the most important thing.
That's great. Thank you. Your Honourable Minister Dr. Reti, with regard to the gender identity, England, through the British National Health Service, and other countries such as Denmark, Finland, Norway, Sweden, England, Netherlands, France, Italy, and the other 23 US states are banning the use of puberty blockers. Will the New Zealand Government and Ministry of Health ban the routine use of puberty blockers for under 18s? Do you have a view on this independent? Do you have an independent review by the pediatric specialist in regards to this, please, Your Honourable Minister?
So two things. First of all, this is a clinical decision by the Ministry of Health, so I won't comment on that. And secondly, this sits in the purview of the Associate Minister of Health, Minister Matt Ducey. So those are the two spokespeople or responsible organisations that are best placed to offer a comment on that.
Awesome. Last question for you, Honourable Minister, this morning. What are your thoughts on why the National Party was the only party to oppose the first reading of the private members' bill by Te Anau Tuiono, which is restoring the citizenship, removed by citizenship Western Samoa in the Act 1982 bill. What's your personal view? Do you see it possibly as good for New Zealand geopolitically in the Pacific region? Should our people make submissions to the Select Committee?
So several things. First of all, this is a party position that we've had for many years. So there's nothing different in how we voted a few weeks ago. We continue to have concerns around what this would do for configuration settings, including the ability for children of those eligible to then become eligible for citizenship, and indeed for grandchildren through a special grant to be able to make applications. So it has significant effects on citizenship settings. To answer your second question, yes, I absolutely believe people should make submissions to the Select Committee. Awesome. So that we get a well-formed view, so that our thinking can continue to be influenced by that of the community.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shane Reti, for your time this morning. It's a privilege and an honour having you again. And we thank you on behalf of Radio Samoa management and our staff here. We thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.
My pleasure. Kia ora, kia pai tora noho ora mai.
Ai, kia ora. Ia, le nā Samoa sa e whaafonga mai, le whaataltala noanga le nā, ma le fionga i le ali minister o tūla i mai nei foi, i le matanga luenga o tangata Pasifika. Stasi foi o nisi o mata upu sa tala noaina, ma o lo tu ufsilingia i le nei foi vai taimi le nā la, sa tau sa e whaafonga mai, ma e mai mua mai foi, i nisi foi o mata upu sa ufsilingia e foi, sona fina ngalo malama lama, ia e mai se foi o le longo puia li ina, o lo o tau pa ia malo o tau mamalu, e tu sai o nei mata upu o loo whianga iai foi, ma le whainga malo, ia e mai se foi o i tātou o tangata anu o lautele. Ia o le nā la sa e whaafonga mai ai, le tātou whaatalatana noanga le nā malana fionga le minister, ia Honourable Dr. Shane Reti le nei tai au,